Hi everyone. Welcome to my channel, Secrets Behind the Stars. All the details are in my video. If you like it, I'd love it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can support me even more by clicking the join button below. Thank you, and let's watch my video. In the shimmering carousel of Turkish showbiz, where every glance is analyzed and every pause becomes a headline, a birthday meant to be pure joy turned into the center of a storm. Barış Aktaş, one of the most talked about leading men of his generation, marked another year of life in Italy, wrapped in luxury, close friends, and the warmth of his circle. The venue was a dream hotel that felt like a movie set, polished marble floors, tall windows framed by velvet, music picked with care, and laughter floating like confetti. Beside him for much of the evening was the woman currently sharing his present, poised and radiant, while far away, yet somehow dangerously close, was the memory of a love that refuses to fade, Yağmur Yüksel. Everything looked perfect, until a small, almost invisible detail became gasoline on a spark. On Barış's cake, the white candles, plain, delicate, almost old-fashioned, matched the exact style of candles Yağmur had posted earlier that day. In her picture, Yağmur sat at a modest table with a coffee cup, the soft glow of those identical candles flickering, and a caption as gentle as it was disarming. Time doesn't always wash away what the heart remembers. What followed was instantaneous. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok erupted. No way, this is random, some insisted. She planned it, others swore. Theories multiplied, timelines were dissected, and comments piled up by the thousands. Memes did what memes always do, they exaggerated, they teased, and they kept the oxygen flowing. Those candles became a code, and everyone wanted to crack it. In a heartbeat, the party's mood changed. The music still played, the flash of cameras still popped, but underneath the surface a thread grew taut. According to people in the room, the woman by Barış's side tried to keep her expression serene, yet the photographs revealed what she could not entirely hide. In certain images, her gaze turned distant, cool. Eyewitnesses swear that at one point she leaned toward Barış's closest friend, Luca, and whispered through a clenched smile, "That woman shows up everywhere, enough is enough." Those who know the couple confided later that the moment Yağmur's name is pronounced in any setting, composure phrase. Barış tries to stay calm, one source said, but when a moment goes viral, the situation decides for you. So while the guests danced along to the Italian band, while the room glowed from chandeliers and candlelight, Barış became quieter. He still posed for the press, polished and polite, offering a short, "A wonderful evening, thank you all," but the camera lenses caught what words did not. At one point, he lifted his phone, looked at the screen, and smiled, barely. That single frame set the internet ablaze again. Did Yağmur text him? The question ricocheted across accounts in every language, gathering momentum. The theory hardened when fans noticed that, a little later, Barış followed a close friend of Yağmur's. Coincidence? Carefully staged? Or a slip of the heart? The narrative was ready-made and irresistible. Meanwhile, Yağmur was at work. On the set of her new series, she faced microphones and bright lights as reporters pressed her for a birthday comment. She handled it with poise, as if closing a curtain with a touch. "I always wish Barış the best," she said, "but I prefer not to speak about private matters." It sounded like a period at the end of a sentence, but tabloids read it as a comma. The restraint, the careful inflection, there, they argued, was affection that had never completely vanished. Every delicate gesture, every measured word, seemed to carry echoes that wouldn't go quiet. By morning, the tension had only sharpened. The woman in Barış's present posted a black and white photo and a line that hung in the air like a cloud, "Sometimes the past dims the light of now." Italian tabloids got to work in minutes. A message for Yağmur, they splashed across their pages. The rumors leapt oceans when stories surfaced that she had left the home she shared with Barış for a few days after a fierce argument. A phrase began to circle online: "Sometimes, the hardest thing is letting go," as if the universe had decided to caption the episode for everyone at once. As if in reply, as if answering a question he didn't want to answer aloud, Barış posted, life grants us the kind of memories that become our secret prayers. Moments later, Yağmur shared a short story of her own. Some memories never lose their voice. 2 messages, back to back, not tagged, not explicit, but insistent. For many, there was no mystery to solve. The past had refused the script written for it, and the past was still standing there, hand outstretched. Columnists began calling it fate's trick. To pundits and veteran observers, the pattern had become too clean to ignore. Their timeline defies the cut, one wrote. In every decisive hour, their names circle each other like magnets. They don't choose the overlap chooses them. Another observed that in an industry built on moments, some moments simply insist on returning, as if time itself has favorites. In the eye of that whirlwind, the woman in the present became, to many viewers, the casualty of a story she didn't write. Those near the couple say her patience is thinning, and that for the first time she wonders if staying is the bravest choice, or the wrong one. She's proud and she's sensitive, a friend of Barry's confided. She won't feel whole while the Yağmur chapter remains untied. And Barış, even when he denies it, doesn't forget what shaped him. Then came the travel plans. Officially, Barış is set to be in Istanbul for meetings tied to a new project. The moment it hit the news feeds, speculation spun again. Work, yes, but what else? Almost at the same time, it emerged that Yağmur would also be in Istanbul for a brand commitment. 2 schedules, 2 flights, 1 city. Was it just logistics? Or the kind of alignment that scripts itself and dares you to call it coincidence? Back at the party that sparked it all, those white candles kept flickering in comment sections long after the music faded. People began to romanticize the detail. Some said the candles were a nod to a private anniversary. Others insisted they were just candles, and the internet did the rest. Yet the smallest things tell on us. A song chosen, a route taken, a glimpse at a phone. When the audience already suspects a story, the props don't stay props. They become the map. Luca, who found himself a reluctant confidant that night, would later tell a friend that Barış hates how loud silence becomes when a rumor hits the room. He's used to cameras, the friend recounted, but not to this idea that the past is something he's plotting with. And still, even in frustration, there was that smile at his screen, that follow button tapped. Reality and performance live side by side in his world. Sometimes even he can't tell which is which until the crowd reacts. Yağmur, for her part, gave nothing more away. On set, between takes, she kept to the script and the marks and the professionalism everyone expects of her. But insiders notice subtleties, the way she lingers by the monitor, the way she holds a coffee cup when she's thinking, the almost imperceptible hush she carries in rooms where his name drifts in. She's strong, said a crew member. But strong people also remember. The public, caught between curiosity and empathy, tried to read intentions in glass reflections and airplane gates. They analyzed time zones to clock the gap between his message and hers, debated whether the order meant agreement or defiance, plotted the distance from his hotel to a familiar street she once walked. Romance as mystery has always sold. Romance as destiny is irresistible. The next days brought no grand declarations, only small moves that kept the narrative alive. A playlist added a love song from years ago, fans spotted it and gasped. A stylist posted a candid of Barry's mid-laugh. Someone in the replies swore the joke had been a memory of a scene he'd shot with Yağmur once upon a time. Each sign bent toward one conclusion, that the story hadn't ended where people thought it did. It had simply changed its costume. In another corner of the conversation, voices tried to defend the present. Leave the man alone, they said. Let the past stay closed. But the counter-chorus had numbers. What if the past is the point? What if the lesson isn't to shut the door, but to admit it never closed properly? When the heart refuses amnesia, logic rarely gets the last word. Meanwhile, the woman by his side put her phone down and stepped back from the spotlight. For a few days, she didn't post. Friends say she needed the quiet, needed to hear her own thoughts. When she returned, it was with a simple photo of a sunrise over the city and a caption that said only, "Forward." Admirers applauded the dignity. Skeptics read it as surrender. Somewhere in between lived the truth of a person doing her best not to be a headline. Barış kept working. Meetings, scripts, calls that lasted past midnight. He's good at this, putting one foot in front of the other while a parallel life unfolds online, owned by no one and everyone at once. Yet even in that rhythm, there's a pause, a second that doesn't belong to the schedule. It's the thought that shows up uninvited when the elevator doors close. It's the message you type and erase and type again, deciding not to send it and then deciding that not sending is also a kind of message. If fate truly meddles, it prefers subtlety. A missed connection becomes a running joke. A shared friend posts an old cast photo, and both are tagged by others though neither comments. A brand chooses the same photographer for both of them. The world is small and their world is smaller, and in small worlds, circles overlap before you ask them to. So now everyone waits. For the flight that lands within an hour of the other. For a chance sighting in a lobby, a wave in a corridor, a conversation nobody hears but everyone imagines. The question returns like a chorus you can't get out of your head: how do you finally close a story that never agreed to end? Is closure a decision, or a moment that arrives once you surrender? Here at Secrets Behind the Stars, I want to hear from you. Will Barış and Yağmur cross paths again, pulled by that old orbit? Or is this entire uproar the audience's refusal to let go of a romance that taught them to hope? Tell me in the comments, share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video if you love our Turkish exclusives, and hit the join button to unlock special content and support our work. This community lives on your passion. A community that loves, more than anything, uncovering the secrets behind the stars. The tremor that began with a candle has crossed borders and languages. In studios and taxis, in cafes and living rooms, the same murmur lingers. Is this finale or prologue? Maybe the answer will take its time. But one truth doesn't wait. When the past and present stand together in the soft glow of a flame, when a single gesture calls back 1,000 yesterdays, the heart refuses to be an extra. It takes the lead. It writes the line. And whether we witness an ending or a beginning, the last word will belong to it. Thank you so much for watching my video. See you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.